Welcome back to Movie Insights. Today I will show you a 2008 drama film titled The Stoning of Soraya M. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. French-Iranian journalist Fridun Saab-Jam is traveling through Iran when his car breaks down. He waits by the road for a couple of hours until a small bus comes by that accepts to pull his car to the nearest village, Kupaye. All this is seen by Zara, who has visited the river to bury some bones and clothing shreds that almost got eaten by the wolves. She rushes back to town to see Fridun leave his car with a local mechanic Hashim, who at first does not want to take the job, but changes his mind when Fridun gives him some extra dollars. Zara notices he keeps a tape recorder in his bag and tries to approach him to tell him the village hides very dark secrets, but she is interrupted by the town's mullah, Sheikh Hassan, and the mayor, Ibrahim, who call her crazy and send her away. The two men are noticeably uncomfortable with Fridun's presence in their village, and after asking him some personal questions, they try to get him to have lunch with them, but Fridun turns them down and goes to a cafe alone. There, he is approached by Zara again, who throws at him a little paper ball containing a bone and a map to her house. Fridun decides to play along and visit her while making sure nobody has followed him. After sending his niece's young girls back into the house, she makes tea and asks Fridun to please listen to her story, which he accepts and prepares an empty tape to record it with. It all started some weeks ago. Zara had a niece, Soraya Manicheri, who was married to an abusive man called Ali. They have 4 kids together, 2 boys and 2 girls, but their relationship is non-existent. Ali wants to divorce Soraya so he can marry a 14-year-old girl, Mary, but Soraya will not give it to him because she can't maintain the family by herself. Ali tries to get Sheikh to talk to her, and when he refuses, he threatens him with revealing to the village's past as a convict, so Sheikh has no other option but to accept. Sheikh visits Soraya at her home and, unaware at first that Zara is around listening to their conversation, he tries to remind her of her duties as a wife, which she cannot fulfill, and the best idea is to accept the divorce. Ali will allow her to keep the girls while he takes the boys, and Zara can keep the house as well, but this is not enough for them to survive. Sheikh decides to add a little extra offer then. He can provide for her and her daughters, and while doing so, he can visit Soraya and she can be a kind of temporary wife for him. At that moment, Zara steps in and kicks him out after yelling at him for treating her niece as a harlot. Once he is gone, Zara asks Soraya about her relationship with Ali, and her answer is to show her the bruises he leaves on her body whenever he takes what he wants. Some hours later, while Soraya and her kids are sharing a meal, Ali returns home and yells at her, saying she has shamed him and made him the town's laughingstock for not accepting the divorce. He starts talking to his 2 boys about all they could do if they were able to leave, turning them against her for not wanting the divorce and not having an ounce of shame when mentioning Mary in front of his children. Soraya starts accusing Ali of being a bad husband for wanting to abandon her and the girls without providing for them, but her oldest son cuts in, yelling at her and telling her not to speak like that to a man. Ali orders her to clean the table, and feeling furious at the situation, Soraya throws a plate on the floor, smashing it into pieces. When Ali tells her she owes him money for that, she finally reaches her limit, so she grabs her girls and tries to leave the house. Ali hits her twice, trying to scare her into staying, but Soraya stays brave and leaves with her daughters to stay at Zara's, who promises to speak to the mayor to get his help. She thinks she may gain his favor because he used to be into her and even tried to marry her once. Their talk is suddenly interrupted by Hashim, who comes asking for Zara's help with his terribly sick wife, since the doctor is out of town. On the way to his house, Zara sees Ali in his car with another woman, but for now, she must concentrate on Hashem's wife. Sadly, however, there is nothing Zara can do. She is already dead by the time they get there. She spends the night getting her ready for burial as tradition demands, and in the morning, Soraya comes to help, kicking out all the women that already trying to take the wife's belongings without respecting her death, claiming Hashim won't need them. Once she's done with the body, Zara is called over by Sheikh, who tells her Hashim can't take care of his house and his son alone, so it would be a good idea for Soraya to help him. Zara accepts to talk to her only if her niece will get a wage for this work, money that will only be hers and Ali can't touch. Sheikh accepts the deal. As Zara leaves the building, she's stopped by Ibrahim, who warns her to watch her mouth or she will get in trouble. Soraya begins to work with Hashim, quickly gaining both his and his son's appreciation, unaware that Ali is always watching them interact from afar. Hashim treats Soraya well, and this puts her in a better mood. She starts making her own clothes and gives some of her money to Zara, who hides it and saves it so in the future she can finally have enough to divorce Ali and still support her daughters. One night, Ali talks to Sheikh and tells him he thinks Soraya is cheating on him with Hashim. The punishment for infidelity is stoning, so Sheikh thinks Ali is going too far with these accusations, knowing Soraya isn't the type to do this kind of thing. Ali just says he doesn't want to pay for her support and promises he'll find a witness so they can take this to trial, but first, he is going to start a rumor about Soraya's night visits in their little town. The following day, while helping at the bakery, Zara already hears those rumors coming from the other women's mouths. Soraya has a day off, so she goes on a picnic with her daughters and picks up some flowers that she later takes to Hashem's house as decoration. When he returns home earlier than she expected, he invites her to stay over for dinner, but she turns him down even after hearing he hates to eat alone. The following day, Zara sees Ali and Sheikh having a meeting with Ibrahim, who will only accept to put Soraya on trial if he receives actual proof or witnesses. Afterward, Zara tries to talk to him as well, accusing him of plotting with Ali and slapping him on the face when he implies Soraya may be sleeping with Hashim. After calling him Ali's slave, Zara goes to see Soraya and tries to warn her of what is going on, but Soraya thinks her aunt is just being paranoid. Meanwhile, Hashim is called to have a meeting with Ali and Sheikh so they can ask him about Soraya's behavior around him. These questions make him uncomfortable, and the fact they offer him a contract he can't read doesn't help matters, so he decides to leave. However, Ali and Sheikh follow him home and threaten to send his kid to a mental hospital or prison if he doesn't accept to be a witness on Soraya's trial. Not wanting his son to suffer, Hashim gives up and accepts to lie for them, saying Soraya sleeps in his bed and talks to him as if he was her husband. Moments later, Ali shows up at Soraya's house and drags her out to the streets, hitting her in front of a crowd while accusing her of cheating on him. Zara jumps in and gets between her and Ali, calling him out for making such a public show out of a private matter. After asking one of her neighbors to get the mayor, Zara takes Soraya to hide her in her house, and Ali follows them there. Ibrahim arrives soon afterward and hears Ali present the proof of Soraya's infidelity. He saw them touching hands and whispering to each other like a couple while smiling. Soraya swears she never cheated, and Zara points out it isn't a crime to be nice to people, but at that moment, Hashim arrives and tells the lies Ali had manipulated him into saying. This is enough for Ibrahim to pursue a trial. He, Ali, his friends and sons, Sheikh, and even Soraya's father Morteza Ramazani are allowed to assist, but Soraya herself must wait at home. A couple of hours later, the verdict is announced by her own father. Soraya has been found guilty, and she'll be stoned in an hour. When the news reaches Zara's home, she tries to help Soraya escape, but there are men outside that push them back into the house. Accepting her fate, Soraya says goodbye to her daughters by giving them her old family jewelry, and Zara accepts taking care of them when she's gone in one day, telling them the truth of what happened to their mother. In the meantime, the village men get ready for the stoning by picking up rocks and digging a hole. Even the kids are helping while Sheikh gets his beard trimmed and Ibrahim prays to his God, asking for a sign that he's doing the right thing. Soraya's youngest son comes to say goodbye as well, but the oldest still hates her and takes his brother away. As Soraya finally breaks down and starts crying, Zara tries to offer one last moment of comfort by brushing her hair and singing a song for her. When the time comes, the two of them walk through the streets together while doing their best to dodge the angry mob of men that want to insult and hit Soraya. Once they reach the place where the event will happen, Sheikh and Ibrahim once again announce the verdict and method of punishment, causing the crowd to cheer. They're suddenly interrupted, though, by a group of traveling artists that want to perform in the market, but they're kicked out before they can do anything. After removing her chador and revealing a white dress, Soraya is tied up and lowered into a hole on the ground, which is then filled up again until only the upper half of her body is sticking out and she has no chance to escape. Zara tries to get between her and the mob, asking them to let her take Soraya's place, but she's dragged away so the stoning can begin. The first two stones are thrown by Morteza, who doesn't consider her his daughter anymore, but he fails both times. One of the women in the crowd considers this may be a sign that she's innocent, but she's ignored. Ali goes next and his stones do hit, making Soraya cry and bleed. Sheikh goes next, and after him, both of Soraya's sons throw stones at her too. Hashim is also given a turn, but he can't bring himself to do it, so he leaves the area with his son before the whole crowd joins in and throws stones at her until she dies. After everyone leaves, the traveling performers cover her with a blanket. Later in the evening, Zara and her friends take the body to leave it near the river while the town celebrates. Back in the present, Frieden finishes recording Zara's story and takes the tape out of the recorder, leaving it on the table, right before Hashim comes to tell him his car is ready. As they return to the repair shop, they see Ali driving by and hear him say to Sheikh that his wedding to Mary has been cancelled because he couldn't help her father, which was part of the deal for him to get her hand. This upsets Hashim, who comments he's lied for nothing, gaining Ibrahim's attention. Hashim admits having lied and being threatened by Ali and Sheikh, and this enrages Ibrahim, who wants to call out Sheikh for it. However, this will have to be discussed later. Right now, they must stop Frieden from leaving. The journalist ignores them and gets in his car, but Sheikh has some revolutionary guards under his command, and they threaten Frieden with their weapons to make him hand them his bag. He's only allowed to leave after they destroy all their tapes, but on his way out of town, Zara gives him the tape he left at her house. The car starts malfunctioning again, so she gets between him and the crowd to give him time to get it to take off. Frieden manages to get away regardless of the stones thrown at him, and Zara celebrates the fact the story will reach the whole world. Frieden would later publish the story as a book, which has become an international bestseller.